What's going on, guys? Welcome to the pod. This week we're going to talk about NVDA. We're going to talk about Putin and Tucker Carlson. I kind of missed last week. I attempted to put a podcast out, but it was 15 minutes, super short, and wasn't really my best work. So I was like, let me just scrap it and actually put the time in to actually give you guys some effort on my end, right? To actually have something that's worth somewhat of some value to you guys. Hopefully, it is. So, we'll talk about Putin. We'll talk about, I want to talk about NVIDIA. I have a few things I posted this week, and I'm still kind of working out like what we could do on a weekly basis. And I think I'm starting to figure it out. I'm going to start going over a couple of the posts that I post throughout the week. And, sometimes I don't have enough time to go into detail. And so here's my opportunity to do that. And I want to start talking, about what plays I'm making in the market. And it's not investment advice or anything like that. It's just, what I think about a particular company and which way the stock might head. And who knows? Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but hopefully it's useful to you. And then we'll also wrap it up with some economic talk and get the gauge about where things are going, especially with the Fed minutes that are out. So it's a little bit all over the place, but relatively, we'll try to stay organized here. All right, cool. So topic one. I mean, I guess I should have talked about this when it dropped, but it was just kind of like let the dust settle. And that was Putin's interview with Tucker. And I'm sure a lot of people have watched it. I'm sure you've watched it, and you got your own take on it. And the criticism back home was Tucker was not critical enough, and I don't know what they were expecting. And this is so I'm going to defend him, and then I'm going to I'll try to give you both sides. So defending him, it's kind of like at the end of the day, when you want to break ground with somebody, especially somebody that you've had an adversarial relationship with, which America has had with Russia, the reason why Putin was willing to talk to Tucker, it was because he wasn't just going to go there and say, why are you a dictator? Why are you starting this war in Ukraine? He's like, well, let's get a different perspective. Let's attempt to open up some type of dialogue to get some type of understanding. And for me, I think that ultimately, if you look at something from a holistic point of view, it's like, if you want to keep peace in this world, then dialogue must always be open. I don't care where you stand on whatever side you're on or whatever belief you have. It could be crazy, it could be center, it could be left, right, up, down. It doesn't matter. The golden rule in life is stemming from respect, right? We always got to have respect for everybody and have respect for one another. And one of the main ways to show someone respect is you're willing to listen. And in order to do that, you got to have a dialogue. You might not like the dialogue. You might 110% disagree with the dialogue. That's okay. But you have to keep that line open. And I think this is a fault of the Western media where we've kind of closed that, right? Where like and it bleeds into what's going on in our society today, where there's no room for debate. It is it's the media's way or the highway. And if you think slightly different, then you're going to get scolded. You're going to get ridiculed. And it goes on both sides. It goes on both sides. It's not, and you might be listening to this and saying, oh, what? No, it's only the left that does it. It's like, really? Go look at what I posted about Putin, potentially assassinating one of his political rivals. And then, of course, I mean, there's all these, everybody in and like, I'm not scared about what someone has to say back about it. Like, I'll just post information. I think it's cool. I'm like, hey, I'm like, damn, this is Putin. He has taken out political enemies. He does use everything in his power to maintain power. That's not nothing crazy. And I posted that, and people are like, oh, did you know he's a Nazi? Did you know that he works for the UN and he's this and he's that? It's like, you can have your opinion. That's cool. But everybody in there is just being aggressive. And it's like it's so crazy to me that everybody is polarized on both sides right now. I swear to God, just go look at those comments, and it's just like, whoa, And to me, I was like, oh wow, like this is kind of weird. And you could get into, the subversion, this, what is it, the ideological subversion, sorry, hard time saying that word, that Russian guy talked about, like, what, in the 80s, about excuse me, about essentially the Russians have already won because they've infiltrated, our school system, and pretty much turned our youth into communists and Marxists. And on top of that, they've demoralized the average person, that even if you're told the truth and you see visual proof and pictures, you're still not going to believe it. And that's like a state of, like, distress, right? That's like a state of, like, I can't even put it into words. You have just been you're mentally gone. Your ability to critically think is just gone because you're so idealistic in what you believe, and only you believe that you have the truth. Nothing else is ever going to matter. And it's scary, man. It's scary because while this is all divided up, it's a lot easier for, stuff that we should care about that goes under the radar, right? And so it's like, oh, so what are you talking about? So it's like, if we're focused so much on this culture war, that's energy that's being taken away from things that should actually be addressed, and it matters to all of us, like homelessness, right? Like our kids not getting a good education, like our roads not being updated, like we don't have healthcare in this country, right? And that right there is a whole, oh my god, I can't believe he's saying that. That's a whole nother topic for another day. I've changed my view on that a lot. And I would love to talk about it one day. So if you guys are ever interested in hearing my thoughts on it, maybe one day I'll do a podcast on it, or it'll come up as a topic, But basically, I'm trying to say there's a lot more problems in the world than us thinking about, fighting over what dictator is good or bad, or, the culture war, bro. Like, freaking the trans thing, should women be in sports? Like, all of these things keep us away from the things that should matter. And maybe that's done on purpose. Maybe it's done by our enemies. I don't freaking know. And I'm not claiming to have the answers. And I'm not trying to say, like, only I know and I'm the smartest guy in the room. It's like, nah, man, like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out like everybody else. I am super scared. I don't want to fall into my own feed. And I don't want to not be able to post something in fear of somebody saying, oh, you're a sellout. And, how could you post this? How could you believe this? It's like, just because I posted it doesn't mean I believe it, but I'm always willing to listen. I'm always willing to hear the other side. You got to keep that respect. You got to keep that dialogue open. And if it ever comes to a time where every single person is only yelling at the top of their lungs their own beliefs, and they're never willing to hear someone else's side, there's no growth there. Because, growth comes from pain, right? It comes from a sort of a pain, and it also comes from your ability to think. Well, if all you ever think is what you know is 100% right, and none of your thoughts are ever challenged, and you're in your own circle and you got your own following, you're in your own echo chamber, how, like, you know what I mean? How are you going to be able to progress? Make that make sense to me. Look, and I'm not saying just because you hear somebody out that they're going to be right, or you're going to agree with the information, or the information is even going to be good. But you should just be able to say, yeah, no, I don't like this. This is, I hear what you're saying, but I think it's wrong because, X, Y, Z. It shouldn't be, oh, you're a sheep, or, I can't believe, you're posting. It's just like, there's a way to go about addressing people, and there's a way to, just, it's clear as day that the way you're reacting to something is because you're triggered and you're hurt. And it's funny because those same people make fun of the other side, and both sides do it, right? I don't know, man. I think it's a very vicious cycle. And that's just the whole, even on a bigger context, right? Like Hillary, Clinton calling, Tucker a useful idiot. It's like, for what? Why would you say that? Because he was willing to go and have an interview with somebody and try to get their point of view across. I mean, like I said, yeah, he said a whole bunch of crazy stuff in the beginning. Not crazy, but like that's the wrong thing to say. Not crazy, but he was talking about the history of the land and whatnot, and then he made some pretty crazy, and I'm saying crazy again because this is all new to me because I've never seen that type of dynamic interview where it's a Westerner interviewing him like that in that capacity in this time, right? Because all we hear here is he's crazy, he's crazy. I guess I am brainwashed when it comes to that, right? But like it's crazy to me because what he's saying, I'm in disbelief as a citizen, and I'm 33 years old, so I'm not like I've been keeping an eye on politics really for the last 5 to 6 years, right? Where I'm actually at a level where I'm like, oh shit, I care about what's going on. So I'm still learning things that happened in the 80s and the 90s, and why I say oh shit, it's crazy. It's because he said that Russia wanted to join the UN, and Clinton said in the beginning yes, and then later he said no. How different would the world look like if Russia was a part of the UN? And now, of course, there's the other side to this as well. There's probably a good reason why we didn't want them, or maybe there's not. Maybe that was, hey, if we do this, then there's no point in the UN. Therefore, we can't have funding and we can't get our pockets greased. I don't know. Is that the case? Or is the case that, hey, if we do this, then Russia is going to get a leg up some way, militaristically, or they're going to, spy on us or something. I don't know. But when that part of the conversation was happening, from the Tucker point of view, it was like, how could you not look at our own country and say, what are we doing? And I think that's the fear. And deep down, the majority of Americans, I think that's what we're all feeling. Every day we're just like, what the hell is going on? What are we doing? Like New York City's mayor's giving out $10,000 and no ID checks. What are we doing? You have people coming into the border and we're not, swabbing them or DNA. We're just letting them go, giving them a court day saying, hey, hope you show up. What are we doing? What are we doing? And at a certain point in time, it's like something got to give. Something's going to have to change. If you continually do bad things in your own personal life, and you intentionally hurt yourself, and what I mean by hurt yourself is like you continue to eat bad food, or you don't go to the gym, or you miss an assignment here or there, eventually that shit's going to catch up to you in life. And the country is no different, right? Like if you continue to make bad move after bad move after bad move, the country eventually is going to suffer, and so are its citizens. And that's the concerning part I think majority of us have, is because we're seeing all this, like $60 billion to Ukraine. Maybe that's why they were pissed that the whole interview came out, because a lot of people were listening to that and saying, yeah, why are we funding this? Why are we in Ukraine? Why haven't we tried to talk about peace more? And there's other conflicts going on. There's war going on in Palestine right now with Israel. There's the farmers' protests in India, and I'm sure there's other conflicts. The Houthis are attacking us. There's it's not just one thing, but it's like, okay, so we picked Ukraine, so we're going to send $60 billion there. Why? For what? For what? What is the real strategic advantage there? And you might say, oh, this is going to break Putin, and Russia is going to fall, and we're going to take over. America has always been so short-sighted. From the history that I do know, we've always been arrogant and stubborn in that way. I mean, Vietnam, we thought we could win. We didn't. Afghanistan, we thought we could take. We didn't. Iraq, we thought we could change. We didn't. What makes us think that even if we take Putin out, everything crumbles, that another Putin-like figure is not going to come out? We don't know. There's no guarantee there, right? And is that a threat right now to me and you as American citizens? What's if Russia wins Ukraine? If Russia takes Ukraine, let's just say they take all of it. How is that a threat to me and you? We got nukes. We're protected. Our borders are safe. Our trade is going to be good. Our Navy can defend all of our trade coming back and forth. Our Air Force can help, What? America loses something on the world. Who gives a shit about the world stage? Who cares when we got people suffering right here? Freaking Hawaii is still crumbling under that fire. They got no help coming to them at all. Flint still hasn't even got water yet. Ohio, the city in Ohio, that had the chemical spill, that had 1,200 homes evacuated or 1,000 plus homes evacuated or whatever. What has been done there for them? And at the same time, our economy here is crumbling. Our debt is going through the roof. Our interest rates are higher. Because remember, when they print that $60 billion, that's money that me and you are going to have to pay. What's up, millennials? How y'all doing? You know what I mean? That's us. Because they print it today, we pay interest. God knows when it's going to be paid off, if it's going to be paid off. And so, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I just went on a whole freaking rant here, but it's just like, it's just frustrating, man, because it just makes you think like, yo, what, as a regular person, what can we do? We could talk about it like this. We could try to exercise our best judgment to try and attempt to put in people in positions of power that we think are going to at least attempt to do the right thing for us. That's it. Because we still got lives to live and we're going to go on. And, for me, I'm trying to stay on top of this as much as I can. I try to post it and share it. If I'm making, 2 or 3, people that actually follow me and follow my content closely. If, you're busy throughout the day and you see me post something and you're like, oh shit, okay, cool. I know what's up now. I think that's where it starts, is being informed and trying to get the right information. And even that sometimes you don't know. You can fact check. I can fact check. I can try my hardest to, post the right things and make sure they're accurate. But the world and the day and age we live in today, dude, it's rapidly changing. And that's why I think is even more critical than ever to be able to critically think. Because it's like, I don't want you to put all your trust in me to post it. It's like, no, it's just like, hey, I should just be another one of like 20 sources, 30 sources that you have as an individual that you say, okay, let me counteract everything and then let me decide what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, which way I'm going to vote. Not just because, you follow my content, you like it, and just because I'm going to vote for Trump, you should, or whatever. It's you should be free. You should want to form your very own opinion, and that's my whole point in all of this. Is like I am firmly against there being like an Operation Mockingbird, and it's clear as day that it's alive and well. I don't know about the well anymore, because a lot of people have woken up to what's really going on. Like you're getting fed a bunch of BS, so you look for alternative sources to double check. It's happening slowly, but there's a lot working against us in that sense too. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into the whole what was it, section 230 or 280, I think, one of those ones that appeals the freedom of speech online, that it allows these companies that are social media companies to allow them to have more censorship. That's going to be detrimental to us if that goes through. But for the majority of the part, I do want to say one thing though. I know there's a lot of loom and doom and gloom and everything looks like it's bad, but things still are progressing in a relatively good way. And what I mean relative, like there's always bad stuff you could point to. So I guess we'll get off political a little bit, talk about some of the good news today, which was NVDA crushing earnings. And this kind of ties into everything. I mean, business and politics, man, they go hand in hand, right? So even in the midst of everything that's going on in the world, the election year, the higher rates, which we'll talk about the Fed's comments right after this, the time that we're living in right now is still one of the greatest times on earth ever that we could relatively trace. I mean, who knows where human history started, and fucking who knows if there's an Atlantis or not. But I mean, if we're talking about, us even 300 years ago versus us today, we're living an amazing life. We're living an amazing quality of life as well. And you could argue your mental health and, like how good all this stuff is, but, the ability to be able to live in America, at least have the opportunity to chase your dreams without the fears of being, absolutely persecuted and destroyed and getting things robbed from you right away. Once again, people say, well, if you're in LA, that's going to happen. I'm saying overall, relatively speaking, we do live in good times. And some of the good times have been, it looks like they're going to continue because NVIDIA absolutely, they crushed their earnings. And let's see if I can share. There we go. Okay. So their high earns or high stakes earnings, they triumphed. Is that what the freaking headline's saying? So for the quarter, NVIDIA reported earnings per share of $5.16 on revenues of $22 billion. They made $22 freaking billion in 3 months. Analysts are expecting 460, so absolutely destroyed it on revenues of 20.4 billion. They came in a couple billion above, or 1 point whatever billion you want to say above. That's a massive jump. NVIDIA reported earnings per share of 88 cents on 6.1 billion a year ago. But to put a finer point on NVIDIA's performance, the company reported 27 billion in revenue for the full year of 2022. That's insane. So for the full year of 2022, they made 27 billion. In one freaking quarter, they made 22 billion. And the company also guided higher than analyst expectations for the first quarter, saying it anticipates 24 billion plus or minus 2%. Wall Street was expecting 21.9 billion for the quarter. And then it goes into like what the shares did after market and whatnot. But there is room for optimism here for sure. And why does this matter? Well, this matters just because if NVIDIA is growing from their data centers, from their graphics business, it's because someone's buying. That means there is a new revolution going on. It means it's not just all fugazi. Like there is actual numbers behind that stock rallying as much as it is. And is it crazy to think that NVIDIA could be making over, right now they're on track to make $100 billion a year in top line revenue. So is it crazy that in 4 or 5 years they could be making a couple $100 billion? Absolutely not. So then wouldn't their market cap of $1 trillion plus be warranted? Absolutely is. So what is that going to do to the market? Optimism is back in, baby. So the market is naturally gonna be like, hey, things are looking pretty goddamn good. Now, if they would have went under and all this and that, I'm telling you, it would have definitely dragged the market down. And you saw a sympathy rally after market with all the other stocks that went up with it. So on one side, you got the political turmoil, or that we think is turmoil. Who knows, right? Somebody who doesn't pay attention to politics, living their life. They're like, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, man. I'm still living my life, right? But on the grand scheme, on one of the most anticipated earnings reports of this quarter, and a company that is, let me see what is their net worth. I gotta go up here and type in NVDA. Let's see, at the close, they were worth $1.6 billion. Oh wait, 1.6. I wish it was 1.6 billion. $1.66 trillion. And there's also a lot of other positive sentiment out there, which is these S&P 500 companies have a combined of I think $5 trillion in cash. And because of everything that had went down and whatnot, they got to put that $5 trillion to work. And what I mean has went down is the last half of 2023, the market kind of started pooping on itself and everything was just tanking. It's kind of funny I said that, pooping on itself, but it was going down. Things weren't looking good. And then you started seeing a little bit of a rally, and you started seeing the talks of a rate cut and whatnot, and then it blew up. And on top of that, another positive sentiment is those S&P 500 companies that have, or the top 500 companies in the country that have $5 trillion in cash sitting there, they're going to do something with that cash. And most likely they're going to buy back shares. So share buybacks is exactly that. They buy back stock from the public market and then they retire it. And that creates, shareholder value. Because if they had that money, they either need to go invest it into new plants, into new whatever, new R&D, or they could easily buy back their own company stock and instantly make the value of their own stock go up more. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to see a large number of buybacks. One of them was Airbnb that announced last quarter that they were going to buy back like $6 billion a share. Their market cap was like $90 billion at the time. I think it's like 95 right now. They're talking about roughly buying back like 8% of the company, 8-9% of the company, which is insane. That means the stock could go up 8-9% just strictly on the fact that you're getting more equity just for holding your shares. Your shares are going to be worth more. So this NVIDIA's earning has been important because it's probably going to continue the rally for a bit. Now, where's the bad news on this side? Because it can't all just be good. Well, the Fed also came out, released minutes, and they want to try to target still that 2% inflation rate. That's not going to happen if you cut rates. So that's why the market was kind of spooked. But they did say rates have peaked, meaning where rates are right now, they don't anticipate it to go higher. This is where they want to keep it, and they want to apply that pressure to the economy to hopefully bring things down. It's kind of funny though, right? They're trying their hardest to bring it down, and yet the market is still going wild. I don't know. Eventually, something has to give. To me, those Fed minutes. We'll go back to the market, but those Fed minutes to me really points to the fact that there is going to be no savior for commercial real estate, right? And we thought that there could be somebody that comes like, the rates come down, people that are about to refinance could get saved. That doesn't look like it's happening this year. We're going to continue to see pain probably for the better half of 2024. And I don't see the Fed cutting until the fall. And really, they're going to have to see the data. And this is the right thing to do, man. It's the right thing to do for the economy. And the Fed should not be politicized. It shouldn't be. It should be independent. Because if the Fed was politicized, their best interest right now during an election year would be cut, help Biden, everything's great, make everyone feel rich. That's not what's best for the American people. That's not what is best for the U.S. economy. We need to get real price discovery. We need to make money be worth something again. And we have to keep inflation down. We got to get inflation down because me and you going to work every day, busting our asses, our value, that's our time. That's our life we gave up. So those dollars we earn should have real value. You know what I mean? And this is the only way to do it. You got to keep rates high in order for demand to come down, and everything else will follow. It's painful. It's probably going to get more painful. But in this environment, the rich are going to get richer, obviously, because think about it. Even if the market pulls back, let's use Airbnb as an example. I told you they're going to do about $6 billion in buybacks. If their market cap continues to tank and their stock price continues to go down, they don't care. Airbnb would probably be happy if their stock price went down 20 or 30% this year because they get to buy back more of their shares at a way cheaper price than they ever would have thought. And in the long run, they're going to be better off for it. But the same thing goes for me and you. If me and you in life have done the right thing and we've actually saved our money and we haven't blown it and we're not waiting for freaking Grandpa Biden to just forgive our student loans because we did the right thing and we worked and we paid our stuff off and we saved money, our money's going to be worth money again. When things go down, that's going to be our opportunity to buy, our opportunity to grow. So it's not always all negative. There needs to be a counterbalance. You got to be able to give other people the opportunity to jump in the game. Because if you don't, if they would have just cut rates and things would have just went higher, me and you would have been looking at each other like, bro, why did I ever save anything? What's the point? I've made that point on the last podcast. I'm not going to go back down that rabbit hole, but I think the Fed is doing the right thing. And they're always going to be behind they're always going to be behind on what the actual economy is. They don't have a magic ball, and they're not going to be able to say it. They're always going to be in reaction mode. And I didn't notice I didn't have this on. Oh, they're always going to be in reaction mode. So once they see the numbers actually come down, and inflation gets very close or at their target and everything, the economy is probably going to be in the shitter. And that's when they're going to start cutting. And that's really when me and you should start buying really heavily everything we can. Hard assets, stocks. Buy it in the heart of the recession. And how do you know that's the heart of the recession? You'll know because that's when the Fed is going to cut. Because the Fed is not going to cut before we practically are in a recession. Now, there could be a situation where there is no recession. We get inflation under 2%, and we all sing kumbaya, and then we cut rates down, and there's a soft landing. But I just, realistically speaking, numbers don't number, my boy. The numbers don't number. They're gonna, if we keep these rates high, all these people that bought real estate, at low interest rates, when they're going to go refinance, they're going to get foreclosed on. That's going to have a trickle effect in its own. And it's not just real estate, right? It's also business owners, right? Like a lot of people, a lot of small businesses that rely on the SBA. SBA right now is at 10.5%. A lot of businesses are bleeding. They're not spending money. They're trying to hold on. Can they hold on another 6 months? Because if there was rate cuts and then that payment goes from 10.5 to let's say 9.5, that makes a big difference for a small business. So don't be surprised if a lot of small businesses go under too during this time. Even some big businesses that can't afford reading up at these higher rates. There's still going to be a lot of negative in the market. But there's a but. Companies like NVDA are going to kick ass no matter what. So that also drives, you're going to have to be smart about where you want to put your money and why. You're really going to have to do your homework all the way around. And that's the way it should always be. It shouldn't be easy to invest. It's not easy to invest. Anyone that tells you investing is easy is kind of crazy. It takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. And there's enormous risk involved. You're not always going to win. And it's incumbent on you to do your work and do your DD and make the right bets. So those are those 2 points. What else can we talk about? I mean, I guess we could address this a little bit, which is I don't even want to talk about that really, but I'll mention it real quick in case you didn't see the post about Kelly Wong. She's not an American citizen. She cannot legally vote in this country. She is on the San Francisco Election Commission. So take that information and do with it you will. I mean, there's obviously two sides, which is, the nice side is like, hey, that's great. You're giving someone opportunity and, look good on you for looking past everything. The other side of it is like, this is, this is national security. How could you put somebody in a position of power that's not a citizen of this nation? Like, it be anywhere close to that? I don't know. That's something for you guys to decide. We still have a lot of other topics to cover here, but that was in San Francisco. I said that, but like I said, to every positive, there's a negative, and we're living in some crazy ass times, and this is a crazy ass world. I don't know, brother. I don't know. I wish I did. One of the stories that slipped right under everyone's radar here. Well, I say right under because it only got like 121 likes. I thought it'd get more, but it's probably because the way I posted it. Shit makes a difference. And that's George Soros, set to become the largest shareholder of leading U.S. radio company, report says. So Soros' fund has bought up more than $400 million of the firm's senior debt. That would make him a top shareholder when Odyssey emerges from bankruptcy. So I guess Odyssey is like they do Republican or right-wing, radio news shows. They got people like Hannity and, a handful of other people like, I haven't even heard of some of these guys, bro, but, Mark Levine and Guy Benson. So, yeah, my bad, guys. I don't listen to talk radio, but I'm sure there's a good number of the population that does. And, having someone like Soros be in charge of that in an election year, everything matters. Every little, of, a few votes here, a few. And that's one thing that you guys got to understand, too, about the Electoral College is when you're in when it's broken down to counties, literally like 1,000 people decide which way, you know, the state's um, electoral college points are going to go. Because if you're very tight in a state and it comes down to one or two counties, and in those one or two counties you have 1,000 people vote left and 1,000 people here vote left, then the whole state goes left, and then it's all or nothing for the points. So it does matter. It really does matter. Now, to explain this a little bit, it's typical bankruptcy, right? So, essentially the company, and I wrote this in the captions, essentially the company, filed for bankruptcy. I think it had like 1.8 plus billion in debt. They decided to bring the debt down to 400 million plus, and the debt holders get equity in the new company. Shareholders haven't done for the shareholders. I don't know. There's not enough research that I did on this, and I don't feel like doing it because it is news, but to me, it's not the biggest news. It's just something that I would want to pay attention to, because if we start seeing Shan Hannity leave, or get kicked out like Tucker did, and he starts getting replaced, I guess we'd have to look at the numbers and see how many people are retained, and then you'll see a shift in talk radio going left. That's really the underlying political side. On the business side of things, yeah, he picked up a company that's probably worth at least double what he paid for it, and so the way it works is, if I loaned you a shit ton of money to your business and all of a sudden you can't pay me, I go to the table and I say, hey, I know you owe me, 100 million. How about you just pay me 30 million and I take over 60% of your actual company now, right? That's essentially what happened here. Like I said, we'll have to keep a close eye and see throughout the year if, the company shakes its talent out and which way it starts heading. And that'll be clear as day for us to see it. And we'll point back and be able to say, well, okay, of course, George Soros, right? That dude's name is just synonymous with like every conspiracy theory out there. It's like, shit, dude, this dude can't get away. All right. So what else do we got? And then I posted a little bit about, this is a pretty, so Elon Musk says brain chip patent can move computer mouse with their mind. So that is very interesting, because what the hell is that? Essentially what I'm understanding from that is like me talking to you, I'm working on a computer, I got that damn Neuralink in the back of my mind, and then I could, like, with my mind say, hey, go open a new tab. But basically I move the arrow with my mind and then click it. We're turning into fucking octopuses, dude. That shit's crazy. Yeah. If you guys don't know about octopuses, but they got like fucking multiple brains and shit. So they're fucking, their fucking legs will be doing one thing, and then, their head could be doing another thing. It's fucking wild. You should Google how smart is an octopus, or YouTube it. It's fucking, that shit's happening to us. I don't think I would put it in my brain. Definitely not anytime soon. I'm pretty happy with the way my life is going right now, but who knows? Maybe the next generation, you can't get that edge unless you have that chip. I don't know. And then how does that change things? Who knows? Because who controls the chips? Because this shit never stops, man. It's a fight for our mind. All right, so now we got other news that came out today, and this is kind of relevant to NVIDIA as well, but essentially, let me see. Essentially, Intel says it's on track to regain technology edge in 2025. We all know NVIDIA is in the lead, overtook Intel. Microsoft will produce chip using Intel's 18A technology. Microsoft will use Intel to manufacture homegrown processors. Competition for NVIDIA. Intel launches world's first system foundry designed for the AI era. So it's not just NVIDIA that's going to dominate 100% of the market. There's people coming for their necks. They're coming for the crown. But I think the market is so addressable that there's going to be able to be multi players and not just American companies. I'm sure there's going to be an international company that also emerges with the support of their state government. I'm sure India is working on something. I'm sure the EU or independently, Germany and England and those guys, France, are probably working on something. And I'm sure China is going to have a company and a dog in the race. Or maybe they just, take a country and then say, hey, we're here, TSMU. You never know. Crazy times. You never know. All right. And I guess I could go over the Fed meeting summary, and then we'll go over the stocks next. So, summary of Fed meeting. So, Fed officials believe rates are likely at their peak. Talked about that already. Most officials note risk of cutting rates too quickly. Also talked about that already. We don't want to have inflation come back around too quick because you jump the bullet. Even though it might be good for politics, it's not good for the actual economy. So, well, no, I don't need to say any of that. So, Fed remains highly attentive to inflation risk. Some officials warn of downside risk in overly restrictive policy. So some people in there are saying, I'm trying to keep my job, my boy, you better cut them rates. And some officials, and what I mean by that is, like, obviously there's people that want to have lower rates because, on the Fed board, they think that's what the right thing to do is. And maybe it's politically motivated where you come out and go against it, whoever the new president-elect is, then it's like, hey, remember, I said that? I want Powell's job. There's politics in the politics being played. So that's pretty much it on that. We kind of covered that already in my earlier little rant there. So you're kind of caught up on that. Let's do. Okay, the New York one was funny, but we kind of talked about that already. Them giving $10,000. I guess how did I miss this? This was an insane story. This was the Illinois mayor shut down local businesses that don't contribute to her campaign, dresses like a movie gangster, Citizens. This, I guess, is the movie. And so check this out, bro. So self-styled Illinois super mayor Tiffany Henyard has spent gobs of cash from her debt-ridden small town's coffers, burning thousands of unapproved ice rinks, constant parties, and luxurious travel. I gotta love the luxurious travel. And upwards to millions of dollars on pay for local cops serving as her personal security detail. Spending has become unbearable for the residents. It's parties and a lot of events. It's resources in reference to making it all look like something is being done, but we really can't afford it. God damn it, dude. And that was Denton or Dalton, Illinois trustee Kian Belcher, quoted saying that. So basically, this chick took over a small town, got elected, and said, I'm going to ball the fuck out. And if you don't want to pay me, fuck you. I'm going to fucking shut your shit down. That's absolutely insane, bro. That's absolutely insane. And I'm very curious to see if she is going to face any type of criminal charges or consequences. I don't know. Maybe that will set, precedence, and it will start holding. And this is probably going to go to the Supreme Court, and maybe it needs to be heard because there should be, and I'm surprised there's not in the law, a fiduciary responsibility to everyone that is a publicly elected official that has control over monies. And, when you're a fiduciary, it means you have to look at the best interest of the people you're serving, before yourself. And if it's very evident that you're looking after yourself first and not delivering any type of value to the people that you say that you're, spending on the behalf of, or you're supposed to be looking out for, then you're going to face jail time, and that's legal. Like, if you're a financial advisor and I'm advising you, oh, we should go buy this stock, but I already bought a shit ton of calls and I'm going to make you buy it. I don't really like the stock. I don't believe in the stock. I'm like, yeah, you should fucking buy it. But in the back end, I know I'm getting some type of benefit from it. That has perfect English there. That isn't in your best interest. So me being in that role, I should always be looking out for your best interest first. Yeah, that's going to be a very that's going to be a very interesting thing to see that thing unfold. Well, okay, so lastly, yeah, the rest of it goes into the election last week and in Ecuador, which was good for them. So okay, now let's talk about stocks and stock picks. So if you're not a member of the Discord and you're listening to this podcast, come on, dog, help the boy out. You sign up for the Discord. You help me grow this page. You help me do this podcast. And you get access to the community. And it's on your iPhone or your Android. You download the Discord app, and you could chat in our chat rooms and see what we're trading, see what we're talking about. And it's a growing little community. I'm proud of it. But this is the stuff that we talk about in there that I'm going to share with you guys today. And since you're listening to this podcast, you every week are going to be able to get my stock picks and what I'm trading and what I like. So this is going to be the Joe Hawk Capital list. Hello. So I wonder if okay, so this screen is being shared. So I'm sure you can probably see my face. I can't see my face. I can't see my face. And there we go. Yeah, but then I can't move it. I guess I got to move back and forth between it. It doesn't matter. I'll stay here. Oh, wait. What? Shit. Now you got to... Sorry, bear with me. First time First time doing this software here. I can't even click on shit. Nope. Okay, stop sharing. I'm going to have to reshare. At least I know I pop up on the bottom there. Okay, share. Okay, cool. So this is a site I use. It's called options.io. And essentially it just has like a little screener, a little visualizer. Where do I go to? This is my list. But how do I see? No, I don't want a visualizer. I want... that's how you do it. S&P 500 top here. These are all like the plays. And this shows you a little bit of info, like the put to call ratio, right? And it breaks that down. There's more calls than puts. It means it's bullish, it's bearish, and you can kind of see, like, for example, Moderna right now is having a little bit of bearishness going on. You have the implied volatility. High IV means the market thinks there'll be a bigger price movement. There's like 99, so that means there's gonna be a movement here. A pretty big movement. And then you have volume, like how many have been traded, open interest, how many people have contracts on it, 316,000. And you have a bunch of other, info you could use here. But we're going to go back to my lists. These are the stocks I like. And on our Discord, I'm actively trading these stocks. And you can see how I'm trading them. So I'm not going to give you all my plays, because one, that's going to take forever. And then two, it's like, well, then what the hell is the point of the Discord? But I'll pick, eventually I'll end up sharing all of them after I'm in the trade. I mean, you got to be active there. And so I'll let you know, like, hey, I'm getting ready to pull out, or this is what I think. And then, other people share what they think. So we're going to go to, I like Palantir. And let's see if we get it to pop up. If it could pop up. I think I have to put it in here. PLTR. Oh, no, visualizer. That's what we got to do. Haha, my bad. So first thing is first, you come here. We're going to take these off, and I'll explain it, step by step. Oh, Jesus. We're going to put the MA is moving average, and that's 20 days. So in 20 days, how's it moved? The 200-day, which is a very critical point. So we got that on there. And then we're going to put the Bollinger Band on there. So let's see here. And this is more so just to show us like where the range is. And why is this thing not expanding all the way out? That's kind of frustrating. but it also shows you, instead of you having to go in and look at, so I picked the dates that I want. So mine was April 24th. So currently I have this play available, and I did a bullish call spread. So you can pick whatever you want. So the bullish call. So I did a $25 call, and then I'm going to sell the $30 call. And you can see on the right, it changes with everything, right? Okay. So how do I, I'm trying to still, sorry. I don't know why this is not showing me. It usually, I think it's because I'm on the Riverside app recording. But anyways, so for me, I have the $25 call. I'm selling the $30 call. So here's my, and I have 10 of these on, but you could do the math, just multiply by 10. So we'll do one. So I have a 35% chance at profit. So it's not the best trade. You know, we want to do, I'll share another one with you guys that I really like, but this one's 35%. And then we have, so if it goes above 28, it needs to go above 25.80, because that's the price of 80 cents, I believe, is a contract price right now. And so the most amount of money I could lose is $80 on this. But if I'm right, the most amount of money we could win is $420 on this. So, and the reason why I like this pick, it's not just on the fundamentals. Like, as you can see, big candles going up. I sound like an idiot when I say that. As you see here, you got big candles here going up here, and you got things dropping here. No. Realistically, the reason why I like this is because, as you can see right here on the right, there's a lot of call volume here. And that's not just for any reason. I don't think it's going to blow past 30, but I think it's definitely going to go above 25. And the reason why I picked April is because Palantir is aiming to be a part of the S&P 500. And if it gets that inclusion, it's going to go up on that, because then that means fund managers across the nation are going to have to pick up the stock and keep it in their portfolio. I do not plan on holding this thing until April 19th. A matter of fact, like, as soon as, so if I know I could make a profit of $420, obviously I think that's absolutely ridiculous. If I am netting $40 on this, I'm out. If I could get to 50%, I'm out. Hell, if I could get to even $30 on it per contract, I'm out. And that's how I'm playing it. And I have my logic and my reason behind it, which is strictly the play for S&P 500. And of course, I follow Palantir. There's a couple of analysts on YouTube that I follow that love this guy. Or, I mean, what the fuck am I saying, dog? Sorry, it's late at night. I watch a few YouTube accounts that follow Palantir closely, and they report on their earnings and kind of deep dive. Overall, I like the company a lot. It is growing. They have 100 accounts that are paying them $1 million a year. The company is going to continue to grow. They've been around since the early 2000s. They've been in AI before AI. They helped us find Osama fucking bin Laden, man. That's crazy. You guys go look that story up. You don't believe me. Type in Palantir Osama, and that story will blow your mind. But overall, this is a company that I would be happy to hold long term, and I would love to even sell puts on. But in the short term, I like this play. I like the stock. So now I'll show you something more or something more of what I actually, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Something more that I actually would enjoy playing, which I have done right now, which is Airbnb. And Airbnb, I think I have the, no, they go to April. I think I got the March 28th. And on this one, I just got it was not a spread, and long call, short call, credits. It wasn't a bull spread. It was, well, I guess you could do a bull put spread on it, but essentially I just ran it naked. And this means I sold the 140 on this. So I said, hey, I am willing to buy Airbnb at $140 on March 28th. And then I collected a credit It's not going to show me what my credit is for that, but I believe it's $391. So it's $3.91. And I had to, and in this situation, because I don't know how to do just a straight credit spread on it, you would have bought the 135 to hedge your risk. So essentially, you're saying, hey, I will buy Airbnb for $140, and you're collecting that money, which I believe is $3.91. Then you're going to turn around. You're going to tell somebody else, hey, if things go south on March 28th, you bought a put, and you say, hey, you have to buy my potential 100 shares of Airbnb at $135. And then you pay, the difference between that. You pay what you collected. This goes in your pocket, and then you pay for this, and that's what's left, which is a net credit of $108. So that means if on this date, which is March 28th, Airbnb stays above $140, you will net $108 in your pocket. And this has a 76% chance of profit, which, that's a pretty goddamn good trade. It's a very good trade, but you are risking almost, $392 to make this 108, but you have a 76% chance of being profitable. And these are the type of trades I like. I mean, obviously you want to hit like the 85% threshold, right? But then your money goes down. Your money is directly correlated. The more money you want to make, the more risk you're going to have to take, right? You're not going to get, like, if you go to if I would have sold the 150, right, or 155, and then I bought the 150 put, I only have a 46% chance of profit. But look at that. We almost doubled our net credit. Dictionary. And then that just went away completely. That is not good. What are we doing here, Joe Hall? There we go. I'm back. So check this site out, optionswatch.io. And if you were so confused about what the hell just happened here, oh, look, now it's working. Oh, I feel so stupid now. But if you were confused about what we just see, so you can set the chart up. Let me just set this up again. Fuck it. We're already here. Let's do it live. We're going to go out to the date, which is March 28th. We're going to put the Bollinger Band on. We're going to put the 200-day moving average on, and we're going to put the 20-day moving average on. So we can kind of see where it's going to trade at. Here, it shows us on the right side how many call options there are. And here it shows us how many put options there are. And this is important because is this going to be a free-for-all when the stock starts falling? Is it hedged? Is there anybody that's going to be forced to buy the stock at 150, at 145? A lot of people are going to be forced to buy the stock at 135. And so it's going to have to break that hurdle. And because, when you sell a put or you buy a put, somebody's buying and selling at this. So it kind of pins the stock down here. Same thing happens here. When you're buying this $160 call, somebody is selling it. The stock kind of gets pinned around this area. They close out and they sell immediately. So these things are hard to break. So if we go to this date on March 28th and you sell, I'll just reset the play that I have up. You sell the $140 put, and then you buy the 135. So you're telling somebody, hey, I'll buy your Airbnb shares for $140 on March 28th. And then you turn around and you tell somebody, hey, you have to buy, if my Airbnb shares go below $135, you have to buy them. So the only risk you're taking is from 140 to 135. That's it. It's a $5 risk. But because you're taking this risk, you're going to put $100 in your pocket. And then you're going to have a 76% chance of being profitable. And so I like Airbnb. Go back to the stock screen, and I like Dutch Bros. And if you follow me on Twitter, I think I shared it, and definitely in the Discord, you know exactly what I'm holding. I like AMD, but I haven't made a play on it yet. And I like PayPal. I like Alphabet, Amazon, and then you guys already know about Airbnb. So next week, I will follow up with you guys and let you guys know how the trades are going, and if there is another stock that I like. But what the hell is going on? Oh, there we go. I thought I was I I clicked out and I thought the recording had stopped. I was like, wow, did I lose all of this? But no, it got saved. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the pod, man. This is like a new thing that I'm trying. Otherwise, I'll just, if this is not cool or entertaining for you guys, then I'll think of something else, or I'll just stick to big topics and just cover those, and that'll be the end of that. So appreciate you guys for listening. Geez, if you listen to the whole hour, you the dude or the dudette. Appreciate you. If you could share this with one friend, it would mean a lot. It will help me grow the pod. Thank you guys for your time, and see you guys in the next one.